here from Hidden Garden Oasis. Today's class is all about skullcap. It is the last herb that we are going to talk about this month of April, and it is the last one that falls in our nervous system support month theme. So let's get into it, find out if skullcap is something that may benefit you for whatever issues you may have, conditions you may have, or if you're just somebody who has certain things that are going on that you think skullcap may help to bring your system back to where it needs to be, as far as getting it back to homeostasis, which is the way that our bodies are supposed to function correctly and normally. So let's get into it. Let's find out the benefits of skullcap, any contraindications of skullcap, and how it may help you. Thank you as always.
All right, everybody. So, skullcap. Most people may not have heard about it, but it's actually being studied a lot right now, and some of the things that they're really looking into is using skullcap for things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and stuff like that. So, I mean, this is an herb that is a real up-and-comer, I guess you can say. I drink it every day. It's one of the ingredients in my Divine Nervine Herbal Tea Blend, which is available on the website and in the subscription box for this month. We'll talk about that at the end. But it helps me tremendously with my hand and arm tremors that I have. I drink my coffee every morning. I drink the Divine Nervine tea, and I am good for the whole rest of the day. So, the Latin name for skullcap is, and you guys know how much I am just amazing at Latin, but it is Scutellaria, which actually translates to little dish. So that's referring to the structure of the calyx, and that is the protective cover of the base of the flower, and it resembles a cap or like a helmet, and that's where it gets its common name, skullcap. It is from the Lamiaceae family, which is the mint family. So you guys know anything in the mint family: lemon balm, rosemary, mint, peppermint, all the mints basically, oregano, lavender. They are all spreaders, which we'll talk about in a minute too, which means you need to really put, catnip is another one, you need to really put that in its own container, or it'll be like my lemon balm and take over your entire yard. So basically there are more than one different kinds of skullcap. The two main ones are American skullcap and Chinese skullcap. There is a third one. It is escaping me right now. The two main ones, though, are American and Chinese. We are talking about the American skullcap today. Different parts of the plants are used, and for different reasons. So, like Chinese skullcap, you use the root, and it does different things on the body. But the American skullcap is the one we're talking about today. Alrighty, so energetics. If this is your first class, I teach what I was taught. I was taught in Western herbalism, but there's also traditional Chinese medicine. There's Ayurvedic, but we learn, or I teach Western herbalism. So energetics are basically, plants have energetics. We have our energetics ourselves, and conditions have energetics. So like a wet cough would be moistening, so you would want to pair it with an herb that is drying to dry up that wet cough. People, like I personally tend to run dry and cold, which means I'm cold all the time and I have really dry skin and suffer from eczema. So I would benefit from um, something that would be warming and moistening. Uh, so, and then plants have energetics. So this particular plant, skullcap, is a bitter. It is cooling. Um, the flavor is also cooling too. So what we've learned is bitters. If you remember, if you've come to any of the other classes or learned anything else about herbalism, you know bitters are going to have something. It's foreshadowing that it's going to have something to do with your digestive system. So just a little foreshadowing there. Okay. So now we're going to talk about herbal actions. Herbal actions are what actions the herb will do in your body. So, skullcap, remember we are talking about herbs that have to do with the nervous system because that is the theme for the month of April. It started out, our first class was all about the nervous system, and we talk about in depth. If you want to go watch that class, it is on YouTube. It is on the Hidden Garden Oasis Facebook page, the Natural Healing Community Facebook page. It's on all of those. And we were talking specifically after the main class about herbs that we haven't already talked about that support the central nervous system. So this is the last one for the month, and it is the skullcap. So the first herbal action is a nervine. Again, it's for your nervous system. So what does a nervine do? Well, there's different kinds of nervines. There's stimulating nervines, there's calming nervines, there's sedative nervines. So this one is a calming and relaxing nervine, and it's widely recognized for its ability to soothe an excitable nervous system, making it helpful for anxiety, insomnia, nervous tension, which we'll go through all of that, the uses for it here after we do this slide. But that's what it is. It's a calming, relaxing, sedative nervine, and it basically, what skullcap does is it soothes your entire body, your entire nervous system, all the way down. It will soothe you. So if you have tremors or shaking hands, or even in your digestive system, it will help smooth that out. So if you suffer from like any kind of spasms, it is an antispasmodic as well, including in your digestive system. It'll help smooth that out and make things move easier and better. And the sedative action will help relax the nervous system. It is really good for you, for people with insomnia and stuff like that as well, which we'll talk about because of that. And it pairs nicely with other herbs for sleep and relaxation. It does have a lot of volatile oils, as those in the plants in the mint family always do. However, unlike other plants in the mint family, skullcap doesn't really have smell. You know, lavender has a strong smell. Peppermint has a strong smell. All of these herbs have these really strong volatile oils and smell. Skullcap doesn't have a smell. It has lots of flavonoids, which is good for your body. It's antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. It also has anti-cancer properties. The flavonoids in skullcap bind to the GABA receptors to soothe and smooth out your nervous system. So that means it also helps with depression, serotonin levels, and helping to balance that out, anxiety, all of that. So, I mean, this is just a really amazing herb that's just now starting to get recognition for everything that it can do, which is what we're going to talk about next. So, uses of skullcap. I did talk about some of these already. So, insomnia, panic attack, pain, It's a mild sedative, anxiety, nervous spasms, twitches, digestive disorders, nerve disorders, feelings of being overwhelmed in the moment. Like, it'll help you bring you back to the present. So if you are having a moment where you're having anxiety, or you're overly thinking or worrying about something, if you drink a cup of skullcap tea, it will bring you back to the present moment that you are in, instead of, you know, worrying and fretting and getting upset. It is good for tension, depression, people who are socially awkward. It helps them relax. Um, it is also good for overthinkers. Um, if people are overstimulated, if you are a person who, if there's a lot of things going on, say you're in a room full of people and there's a lot of talking, or if you're somewhere where there's a lot of screens and a lot of flashing lights, and you're just getting really overstimulated by all the sights and sounds, it's good for you. It helps calm the digestive system. It helps with menstrual cramps as well. It helps relax all of that so that it doesn't hurt as much, especially since it also helps with pain. Um, it is a tropho-restorative. So it's considered a tropho-restorative, which means it supports and restores the function of your nervous system, particularly by improving nerve nutrition. So it's being looked at not only, or researched not only for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, but also on its effects to restore nerves in your nervous system. So that would be a huge thing. It's also good for muscle tension. It can help alleviate muscular tension and spasms, as well as tremors and twitches, which I did kind of touch on a little while ago. So it does a lot. It's just this amazing herb that people are just now really starting to learn about, and it's going to catch on. So I'm glad I learned about it before it got too popular. And just like what I said about St. John's wort, this is what you need to be doing. You need to be learning about these herbs before people start over marketing it, not resourcing it in a organic way, and just slapping it on the shelves, adding other stuff to it that's not good. If you can find and make your own stuff, or like go to my website and purchase my items, everything there is 100% natural. You don't have to worry about anything extra being thrown into it. And I give you a flyer for every single item that is in whatever it is, a tincture, an oil, a capsule, and why it is good for you. My company, as well as, a few other ones, they're completely transparent. We tell you exactly what we put in everything, where it's sourced from. Most of my stuff, I'm trying to get as much as I can grown here at Hidden Garden Oasis in my gardens, so that I don't have to order it. But when I do, I go to my local herb store in town, or I go to Mountain Rose Herbs. That is another great organically sourced farm, where they have this amazing way of farming where they're not adding, chemicals, and they're not adding pesticides, and they are sourcing them and using them and drying them and selling them, so that people like me and you can have good, wholesome plants that are good for you with as much medicinal integrity as possible. So I talk all the time about how, herbs can work with other herbs. It's called synergies. What herbs does skullcap synergize with? So it's a friendly plant. It likes to play well with others. But some of the good ones are milky oats, passion flower, which I've had a class on, wood betony, Holy basil, I've had a class on. Chamomile, I've had a class on. Catnip, I have a class on. That was the last one. Lemon balm, I've done a class on. So they work very well together. And then in, like say, the Divine Nervine Tea Blend, it has catnip, skullcap, and chamomile in there. See, they synergize really well, and that's what I drink every day to help with my hand tremors. And I am good all day long. Just 1 cup, and I'm good all day long. Of course, you know, if yours are worse than mine, then you might, you know, want to do more than 1 cup a day if you're drinking the tea, but that's perfectly fine. I also pair with other nervines different parts of the day, like the sleep at, I'll go back to this one. At night when I go to sleep, I do the sleep capsules, and the sleep capsules, there is 2 different kinds. There's the valerian root, passion flower, chamomile, nervines, and then there is the California poppy, passion flower, and chamomile, nervines. So I do those to help me go to sleep and stay asleep, and I get an amazing night's sleep. We also have the class on sleep health, and that is very important to have a good sleep health and routine. So because I spread mine out during the day and night, my nervines, it helps keep my nervous system in check, to keep me from stuttering, keep my hands from trembling, and keep me in balance. And that is the point. You want your body to work the way it's supposed to. And that's why nutrition and eating as clean as possible is important. That's why sleep help is important. You know, that is why having the right vitamins and minerals in your diet and your supplements. And you have to watch some of the supplements, because sometimes the supplements you get are not what they are marketed to be. So be careful. Okay, harvesting and cultivation. All right, it is a perennial. This plant is a perennial. It has beautiful purple flowers that look like they have little helmets or caps on them. Because it is in the mint family, of course, it has the stereotypical square stems and alternating leaf patterns. One set north-south, next set east-west, alternating. Again, they are spreaders because they're in the mint family, and they're not very hard to grow from seed, which is how I start most of my plants, from seed. And then I already said that it's in the mint family, but it's actually one that's not fragrant at all, which is so unlike mint family, but it still has the medicinal properties and the flavonoids and all of that. It just doesn't have a smell. All right. They do like to have what is called wet feet, which means their roots like to stay wet, but not sopping wet. They just like their feet wet. The flowers look like little helmets. They're purple flowers, and they grow in like around marsh. If you're looking for them out in the wild, they will grow around like marsh edges, the edges of a marsh. And they do flower in August, and that is the best time to harvest, is right before they're going to flower. All right, parts used. So you're going to use the aerial parts, and aerial means everything above ground. So you're going to use the leaves, and you can use the stems and the flowers. Here's where I put it. Harvest right before flowering. But most of the time, if you're going to harvest it, especially right before flowering, you know you're going to harvest the leaves mostly. So that is the main part that is going to be used, the leaves of the stem. Remember to use the 2/3 rule. You never want to harvest more than 2/3, whether it's in the wild or it's even in your own garden, because you want it to continue to keep growing and keep producing and keep making new plants, new leaves. So never over harvest an area, because then it won't come back. Preparations. So as I said, it's really good in a tea. It's really good in a tincture too. So maybe you're somebody who doesn't like tea, just make a tincture of it. I do have classes where I show you how to make tinctures, but tinctures are made with either um, alcohol or apple cider vinegar, and you can use fresh or dried plant material for a tincture. Oils, only dried, because you can't have water in the oil. So you can use Skullcap internally, you can use Skullcap externally, but that is depends on what you're using it for. I skipped a slide. Where's my contraindications? Hold on one sec. Here we go. Contraindications. Contraindications are kind of like cautions. So people who have liver conditions, because Skullcap does affect your liver. So if you have liver conditions, be cautious if you're using it. Make sure you talk to your doctors. Anybody on cholesterol medications, blood thinners. I am on cholesterol medications because of the brain hemorrhage that led to multiple strokes. I have to be on certain medications for, they say, the rest of my life. We'll see about that. Anybody on blood thinners, you need to have caution using it. And it's not recommended for children, pregnant, or nursing women. So this is not one that's good for all ages. Mostly because of the sedative and the nervine. You know, when they're little, don't really... chamomile is probably the most... well, catnip is also okay as far as a nervine for children, but you want the more gentle herbs. Alrighty. So now we're going to talk about the available products. Hidden Garden Oasis. April subscription box is the nervous system support. If you use promo code BOX1, you'll receive $10 off your first subscription box. And there's actually a lot in this one. Well, there's a lot in all of them, actually. It's always at least $100 value for $49.99, and then I give you an extra $10 off, so you're getting it for $39.99. You get the Divine Nervine Tea Blend. That is right here. You get the Calming or Relaxing Sleep Tea Blend. So 2 tea blends, plus I give you disposable tea bags in case you don't have your own way of making your tea, steeping your tea. There is the Relaxing, Calming Glycerite, the Lemon Balm drops, and the Relaxing Massage Oil. So you get all of that. Plus, I give you flyers of everything and what is in it, and why it's good for you. So you can also purchase these items individually if you rather do that as well. All right. And then here's my information. Hidden Garden Oasis. We have the website. Have the Facebook page. The Natural Healing Community group. Instagram. I'm still trying to figure out TikTok, guys. When I do, I'll let you know. I have an Etsy page, an Etsy shop, I should say, and I have a YouTube channel, so you can like and subscribe to that. I have classes free, new ones every week. There's 1 week at the end of the month usually that I don't do it, but I was sick this week, so the time frame kind of shifted. So next week will be the beginning of May, so we'll do a new topic. We're going to do herbal first aid. Got to figure out how I'm going to do that. Our baby is graduating on Sunday, so we'll see what I come up with by Tuesday. So you can contact me through Messenger. You can send me a message on Instagram. You can email me. You can call me, or send me a text. You can go to the website and you can schedule a free consultation if you want help getting started on your natural healing journey, and I will be happy to help you with that. If you have any questions at all, just let me know. And if there's no questions right now, I can't see right now. Hold on. Go back to my comments here. Sorry. All right. If there's no questions, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything from anybody. Nope, that was on something else. Okay. Well then, you can always reach out to me if you do think of anything. And as always, thank you so much for allowing me to help you on your natural healing journey. Have a good rest of your week.